Hi everyone. I would assume that you may have received the document checklist and the other material that we have sent you as to how to prepare for your DACA application. I thought about doing this video so that you will kind of have a better idea in terms of what documents and how to go about getting this documentation. So it will be easier for you. And after having listened to this video and you start gathering all the documentation, any questions, any problems you have, please do not wait. Please always call our office, and we are basically here to help. We'll try to assist you to figure it out. Okay, so in terms of sending this application, like I said, there are different eligibility criteria that you need to prove when you're sending this application. uh, of course, you need to have a picture ID. Previously, the school ID worked for people who do not have the passport from their country. So if you don't have a passport at this point, I'm willing to send it with your school ID, but I would absolutely recommend you to schedule an appointment to get your passport. So even though we may send without one, I need for it to be ready in case if they are not happy with it and they request a better picture ID. Okay. We do need to show that you are either currently in school or have graduated from school or current when you're sending this application. Now, for people who are currently in high school, that would not be a problem. But for people who have dropped out from school and is currently enrolled with a GED program, keep in mind you don't need to have the GED in your hand. So you need not have completed it, but you do need to prove that you are currently enrolled, and that you are only the enrollment document also is not going to work. You need to show that you are working towards your GED, basically that you are currently attending classes. It would be a little bit problematic with the COVID situation and whatnot, but maybe some of these GED programs may have online classes. So maybe they might be in a position to verify that yes, you are working towards it and you are attending classes. Now, if you are thinking about completely going for an online GED program, please contact me first and let me know what is a program you have in mind, because most of the GED programs are not accepted. Okay, they have to be a established program, and there are certain established programs that you have to prove that it is. So please do check with me first before you go about enrolling in a program. So the biggest the difficult part about this application is that you need to prove, like I said at the consultation, that you have been continuously physically residing in the US from June 2007 up to now, which means continuous physical presence that needs to be proven by way of documentation. So there has to be some document or another for at least every 3 months, which is going to be like 13 years of documentation. So for somebody who is enrolled in school, you don't need to worry about from that on enrollment onwards, okay, because school records is proof of continuous physical presence. Talking about school records, when you are asking for them, when you're asking for it, make sure that you ask for your complete school record, including basically your very first registration, the application. So if your parents applied for you to be enrolled in kindergarten, I need basically a copy of that application itself up to all the records up to now. So if you were in pre-K, definitely those. With regard to school transcripts, different school districts have different ways of printing it. Previously, for example, the Elkhart School District used to print these records from their online system, which kind of was funny, and it did not have any proof, any attendance information, no anything. And we received further requests from the USCIS that they don't confirm that you've been continuously present at school. So Elkhart School District later changed the way that they do it. It would be preferable if your school transcript shows your attendance records, how many days of attendance for a particular year, and how many days of absence. Now look at the records that you have, and if they don't have it, like again, we'll need to get the attendance records if the transcripts don't have it. So that's something we need to do. And if you can't, again, they tell you this is what we have, let me know, and I'll look at it and see whether it works or not. Also keep in mind that we need to also prove that you were actually physically present in the US on June 15, 2012. That's another thing, which means that there has to be some document or another close to that date, if not exactly on that date. Now, for kids, for applicants who are, all of you guys are kids to me, I'm a lot older, I'm sorry. So for everybody who's been in school, don't worry about it. But I do need a copy of your school calendar for school year 2011-2012, because I will be showing that the school calendar shows that your school closed somewhere close to the June date. For most of the, if you are from Goshen School District, Elkhart School District, Noble County even, I think I do have copies of your school calendar for that particular year. But if you are from another school district, during that 2012 you were in some other school district, you do have to ask them to provide you a copy of the school calendar for the year 2011-2012, please. Okay. So with regard to the rest of, understand that this means that anything and everything. So it does not have to be an official document. So if you basically, for all the applicants, if you purchased a car and there is some receipts in your name, that will work. Anything and everything, bank statements, telephone records, but it needs to show your name and a date. So anything and everything works. If you are older and you have children, then of course complete medical record for the child will also work, because minor children resides with the mom and parents, so that will help. If you purchased a furniture set and you've been paying periodically and you get receipts, those will work. Let's say, for example, when you're asking for medical records, please tell them it's for your personal record. Don't talk about immigration, lawyers and all these things, completely unnecessary. Also, when you go about getting things from any place, work your charm. Be polite, be persistent. Don't take no for an answer. So ask, okay, I just need a complete copy of my medical record. How long will it take? And because some places say 2 to 3 weeks or something, try to get it expedited. Just say, is it possible for you to maybe have it ready within about 2 weeks? I have this really important application I need to send where I need to attach these records. Please, so work on it. Any problems you come across when you're doing these things and they're giving you a hard time, let me know. Okay. So like if you wear glasses, of course the eye doctor. If you go to the orthodontic, ask them to give you the, when you're asking for like orthodontic or something, they can just print the dates that you visited the place. That's basically really what we need, not really what they did on your teeth. Okay, so the challenge would be for really young kids, that would be pretty challenging actually, and we discussed this at the consultation. If you enrolled in school 2008, 2009 or something, and you were just at home with your parents during, before, from 2007, now that would be a bit of a challenge, how to prove your physical presence. So we need to become creative and think of ways. I mean, of course, vaccination records. Of course, you absolutely need to request your full medical report from the doctor, because there must have been some doctor visits, if not many. And then we can attach copies of tax returns of your parents where you are named as a dependent. If your parents were renting and your name is there as one of the people residing in that household, I don't know, if you attended your first communion and I need to check all those things because I'm not familiar with all the religious programs and whatnot. Okay, so you can do baptism, first confirmation, first communion, and you can photos. We can attach photos, but they are not that strong evidence. But if the photos carry a date, even if they don't carry a date, I don't mind throwing in a few pictures where you look like you're 3 years or 4 years old and you're with your parents and the background shows something that kind of looks like it's the United States, that kind of thing will work. Of course, a picture of you with your mom and dad, and it can be Mexico, it can be US, it can be another country, so that kind of thing may not work. So it depends on what kind of picture you have. And then you can medical records, school records, we talked about that. I mean, a lot of people have asked me about letters from people and or affidavits. Understand they are secondary evidence, not primary evidence, meaning that they don't have that strong a value. But if we don't have anything else, we are definitely going to resort to those as well. So maybe if you were like 3 years, 4 years old or something at that, in 2007, 2008, or 4 years old, and you were looked after by some lady for 2 years when your parents went to work or something, yes, I will definitely consider getting an affidavit from that person. And again, with from someone else. I mean, if you attend a church and somebody was doing classes, anything and everything, we'll have to discuss your life, as in like what you may have done during that time period. So you need to reach out to me. Now when you bring those documents, I have already explained in my cover letter that number one, they need to be copies. Do not bring me originals, I do not accept them. And they need to be properly organized, and you have to organize your documentation. So I don't want to be seeing a bank statement and then a few rental bills and then another bank statements underneath. I am not going to accept it like that. So you need to organize your documents. All of you are old enough to take ownership of your application. Go through don't just dump something your parents have gathered, okay? That's not going to help you or help me. I need you to know what's the documents you're bringing me. I need you to go through the documentation and organize them properly. Look at them. See, okay, if, like I said, if it's bank statements or if it's medical records, they have to be separately, pinned. And if you, on top of the school transcripts, of course, you can bring me other school records. So go and dig your basement, find out all the awards and certificates and letters that teachers have written to parents, some reports, anything and everything. Remember that. Anything and everything with your name and a date of birth, a date on it. And so they have to be, like I said, copies. They have to be organized. I need you to also, the reason I sent you that yearly chart with the checkbox for each month is for you to do your own due diligence to check what are the periods that are covered. So if you find a document that shows March 2013, you can put a checkbox in that. So put checkbox for the periods that you have the document for the documents, and see what gaps you have. When you do that, it's going to help you, not only me. Why? Because let's say, for example, you just drop off the documents without really taking care, not really making sure that you have everything, or you just dump something. What will happen is that I'm going to take a little bit of time to get to it, and then I get to it and I go through it, and I find that my assistants will find that there is a gap, and then they run it by me, and then I look at it and I'm like, yes, there is nothing for this period. And then we get back to you, hey, by the way, you need to find something for this period, and then you start looking for it. That's waste of time. It's not rocket science. You can do this yourself. I mean, that finding out what are the periods that are covered or not. So try to do it on your own. You don't have to do it. If you try to do it, it is going to help you. So that's why I sent you that link, okay? Now, about the documents that I've sent you, do keep it along with this video. So I'm going to send you a link for this video. You absolutely cannot share this link with anybody else, or share my documentation in social media or anywhere else. I have put it in the documents I sent you that this is in the contract that you sign. There is a clause in the contract. This is the material of TK immigration law, and we have the ownership of the property ownership for it. And you are in violation of the contract that you sign if you share this material anywhere else. So please don't do that. Okay. Anything else I forgot? I think that's really it. I think I've covered it all in terms of what documents to bring and how to bring. With regard to those letters that I discussed, that you will have to call me and say, I entered the school, this is in 2009, and before that, these are the only things that I check this place, I check this place, I check that place, and we don't have any of this. So what shall we do? So you have to brainstorm with me. You have to call my office and let me know. I think that's it really, right? So I hope that this video kind of helped you a little bit in understanding things a little bit more. Again, keep in mind that you have to be in touch with me, you have to contact me, and you have to ask questions from me when you can figure things out, okay? All right, I wish you guys all the best in gathering about do not wait, do not please. Remember what we discussed. You had to drop everything that you do. You are all old enough to take ownership of your application, like I said. So drop everything you do. This is really important. So start gathering the documentation. Do not wait for your mom or dad to do this, please. I mean, of course, they may have to reach out to some places as adults, but I want you to be on it. All right. Okay. So you take care and good luck. And let me know if you have any questions. Bye.